Lights, camera, action.
When a script is written that is so bad, no one will film it. These brave podcasters will bring it to life just so they can mock it. This is Table Reads.
So the movie's kaput, which means your script ain't worth the buffalo shit on a nickel.
Table Reads with Sean McBee, Kelly Levier, and Joshua Baker.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Table Reads. I'm Sean McBee. I'm here with Kelly Levier and Joshua Baker.
Welcome back, Josh.
Welcome back,
like
Kelly.
The thing you just heard said, you know, we're all here. This is our 90th episode of Table Reads.
We're going to ride go-karts at 100.
Yeah, Josh actually just pitched that to us in the intro.
Now it's in the recording, so now we have to.
That's true. Check on us in 10 episodes.
After Dragon Con, though.
After Dragon Con.
And
thanks, Josh.
We're going to have to record it.
Yeah.
We're going to have to record a podcast
while racing.
That sounds fantastic. You could grab a Mario Kart sound pack and throw some sounds in there. I'm worried.
We need to. We're in the cars.
That's also definitely copyright infringement.
For sure.
Nah, you can just say it's a spoof.
Yeah, there you go.
It's parody.
Right. Speaking of parody, I almost feel like this Wonder Woman script is that.
I mean, it's not Wonder Woman if she's not sexy dancing for all the men to ogle at.
Under a mirrored ceiling.
You know, I feel like your Bacchus, though, was kind of almost bisexual. So, he could have gone either way.
True, he may have been totally unimpressed.
He seemed like it was just like a test.
The whole thing reminded me of Sweet from Buffy, the musical episode.
Oh, yeah.
That's exactly what I was picturing the entire time. I was like, Josh, you've done this. We've seen this episode.
Yeah, that's true. Except it was just her, and it was her choice. But still.
But the same kind of air, the same kind of setup of just randomly appearing when people are,
It's like Christmas.
It's like Thanks, Griffin.
Well, if you're confused about what we're talking about.
Previously on Table Reads.
Steve Trevor crashes his plane on the island, blah, 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 all the original Wonder Woman origin stuff. He brings her to Gateway City, which is apparently every city
San Francisco
in the world rolled into one.
San Francisco 2006.
Yeah.
It's like San Francisco, but also it's got the international flair of New York or the Strip in Vegas, I guess, because they got the Pyramid and the Statue of Liberty or whatever. Anyway,
it's the same.
They mentioned the line, if you want to see the world, go to Gateway City and walk 10 blocks. So that's... Sure. Okay. So she goes on a crime-fighting montage to get the attention of Shrike, the nephew of Ares.
Strife.
Yeah, what did I say? Shrike?
It's a character in the Witcher series.
That's Witcher.
Oh, it's actually also a species on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. this season. So that's where I'm getting confused. It was Strife?
Strife, yes.
Strife. To get the attention of Strife, who is the nephew of Ares. You don't hear a lot about god nephews. Nephews of gods. You hear about their children,
True.
Like Hercules. Don't so much hear about the nephews, but go on, Strife.
He's the son of Eris, I think, who's the goddess of discord.
Cool. But nobody cares about that in this, apparently, because it's just all about Ares.
I'll Google myself.
Kelly, if you said it, I'm going to assume it's true.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
We're getting to that point, right?
She is our own human Google.
I hope she says things that aren't true and we just believe her, because she looks at her phone and then we're like, oh, wow. And we just believe it. We don't Google it later.
She just holds up her phone real fast.
Yeah. Like
no, a guy in the movies flashing his wallet to make you think it's a badge.
I was correct, for what it's worth.
That's a good bit.
So, she's gonna go find Strife, I guess. I said it right this time, right?
You did.
Yeah.
Now it's messing me up.
Fade in.
Exterior, Spearhead, afternoon. The building towers over us with gleaming phallic grandeur.
They love pointing that out
Yeah.
every time.
Yes, we get it. Skyscrapers are phallic. Nobody's like, he drives through the Holland Tunnel. It's vaginal splendor.
God.
It is like a giant anus.
But they always have to point out the phallus symbols.
I guess he's saying it so it's like for the art director or the people like, you know, trying to find the thing. They're like, make sure it looks like a dick. Like,
in case they don't know what a skyscraper looks like.
right, yeah.
Or they weren't tipped off by Bacchus just in the last
This one looks
scene.
this one just looks particularly like a dick. Like it's
got a
shaped
rounded top.
just like a dick. Like
2 smaller buildings at the base.
thanks, Joss.
The head of security approaches a guard as another talks with people inside a car.
We do retinol on every guest, no exceptions.
They're really beefing it up,
Well, that's not your business.
sir. The head of security fades back in front of the bushes, watching the road. A golden rope whips out of the bushes and around his waist. He's pulled back in faster than he can blink. He hits the ground, the lasso still around his chest. It was around his waist before. He goes for his gun, but Diana shoves him back to the ground.
Hi, we need some access codes.
Interior, Spearhead hallway, day. The camera pans up a pair of high heels, tight skirt, tightly buttoned professional woman with her hair tied back and round glasses on. It's a classic look. In fact, it's Diana Prince next to a Natalie suited Steve.
What does Natalie mean?
Like a sharply dressed.
Oh, like it's natural.
Yeah, he's
natty. I get
natty,
it. Okay,
yeah.
natty, yeah. Okay, I got it.
It's like antiquated and fine. They come out of the elevator at the executive level. Head for Callus's office.
God of War makes weapons. Talk about hide in plain sight.
Why should he hide? Nobody bothers to look.
Well, we're looking, and we're just looking, okay? Remember when you found clean and just had a chat? That was good. Let's chase that feeling.
I won't fight unless it's time to.
Right.
I'm still really sold on our idea that this was going to be Nathan Fillion.
It could work. A young Nathan Fillion.
Also,
Poor Nathan Fillion.
Joss Whedon uses like 5 actors.
Yeah, true.
Wow.
I would rather be Nathan Fillion than David Boreanaz, so.
For real. I fucking
Let's all agree
hated
on that.
Angel
Me too.
from the beginning.
Me too.
I mean the character, not the show. Because I couldn't get through enough of the show to form an opinion about it.
There wasn't. No. Glad we're all aligned on that Spike was better.
I completely agree.
He's never seen Buffy, I'm guessing.
Josh.
I don't think I've ever seen a single episode of anything y'all are talking about.
You are,
Wow. We got some education for you, Shane.
Yeah.
you are really, really missing out.
Right.
I was in a
guess so.
bad relationship for 4.5 years. It was bad almost the whole time. But she made me watch Buffy, and so I cannot have such terrible feelings for her.
Huh. Well,
Yeah, I've watched it and rewatched it, and it is fantastic. You need to watch it.
okay.
The first season's rough. You got to push through it, but after that, it's pretty great.
Okay. I just skip the stuff that's boring.
No, I mean you have to watch it all because it all.
I know. I'm just
and builds up.
irritating you fan people.
You're trying to get a rise out of Kelly.
Good luck.
Edgy.
I miss her. My crowning glory.
All right, where are we? Oh yeah, interior assistant's office. Moments later, he's young and square-jawed, a comer. He looks up as they enter.
Hi, Steve Trevor and Diana Prince.
I'm sorry.
I think we're early. If I could just get a water, that'd be great. Still.
Sure, just let me check my book. He reaches under the drawer. Diana grabs his head and smacks it down on the desk brutally fast.
My water thing was working.
He's out.
He was going to call the guards. Oh.
She pulls a gun with the silencer out from under the drawer.
I was wrong.
I'm going to make a soundbite of Kelly saying that. I'm going to
Play it.
Interior Callus's office, moments later. As the doors smash open, Diana and Steve behind them, reverse on Callus, sitting calmly at her desk.
Well, that's a bit much.
Diana whips her lasso around Callus's neck. Callus looks down at it calmly.
Let's talk.
And hands where we can see them, please.
Weaved by the oracles at Delphi, blessed by Athena, am I right? So you do serve Ares. Oh, yes.
Why? Does it work if I ask stuff?
His power is practically limitless, and he's chosen me to run his empire on Earth. Do you know what that makes me?
The bad guy?
What are you planning to do to Gateway? Destroy it.
Her calm shakes Diana a little. There is a real vulnerability to the question.
Why? Because we can. People get above themselves, and they need to be reminded how fragile they are. All the wars and all the weapons that we can manufacture will never be as blessed as mass, mindless fear. Gateway will be the first of many great cities to collapse, and we will enter a golden age of fear and apathy, and everybody in the world will do as they're told.
She has them wrapped, and she knows it. She smiles.
Plus, it's really helped me out with some zoning issues. How? How are you going to do it? You should have asked that first.
Diana dives into Steve, knocking him to the ground as gunfire erupts from behind them. 6 heavily, almost science-fictionally armed guards are taking positions just outside the room. Callus stands, free of the lasso.
You should have been quicker.
To the guards. A guard starts into the room and Diana kicks the door from the floor, swinging it into his face with riot mask shattering force. Does he have a riot mask, or is his face just gonzo now?
My bet is gone.
Yeah.
She leaps up and grabs Callus, holding the rope to her throat.
Is there another way out?
Callus puts her hand on the painting, and the tapestry rises. The steel door lowers behind them. Diana kicks the desk so hard it goes through the doorway and part of the wall, knocking down a couple more shooters.
Go!
He races into the war room. Gunfire makes Diana let go of Callus, who pitches forward as Diana follows Steve out. Interior, Spearhead War Room, continuing. Diana and Steve race through to the other side. Everyone stares at them stupidly, till gunfire makes everyone in the room duck and cover. A burst nearly gets them. Diana deflects, but they're forced to take cover behind a console. Diana grabs a couple of computer disks and whips them at the guards. One cracks a faceplate, one digs into a forearm, and 2 guards are out of the game.
Now!
He runs low, she follows, deflecting a couple of shots, and a tech guy bolts from his hiding place, freaking, colliding with Diana. The guards fire indiscriminately. Close on the tech guy as he jolts with 3 impacts, looking at Diana in bewildered pain. He drapes himself on her as she stumbles back, thrown. He dies staring at her. It's weird. Steve pulls her out of the door to the prayer chamber as she looks up at the guards in rage, deflecting the last few shots almost automatically. Interior, prayer chamber, continuing. The hanging statue of Ares looms over them as they enter. Steve is looking for a way to bar the door.
This thing doesn't lock.
And a still stunned Diana looks up to the grotesque eyes of the hanging Ares statue right above her. She whips her rope around its middle and heaves, bringing the thing down onto the floor. She pushes it against the door, its marble head smashing into dust as it hits. We hear thuds and shots from the other side, but the door isn't budging now. Interior, the silo, continuing. The silo is empty, and Steve nearly plummets over the railing edge. The drop seems endless. There are walkways at various levels, but no stairs. All about them, various machines come to life, designed for repair, welding, and bolting, most of them attached to the walls. They reach out and start firing bolts, lasers, and some insectile repair bots crawl menacing down at them from above, wielding saws and pincers.
What the hell is this place?
For real.
Hold on.
I know that's Steve's line, but you could just as easily been thinking that.
True.
What were you saying, Kelly?
I don't know. I think I was just about to read my line, but you are accurate. I have no idea where we are at this point. Hold on to me.
He grabs her in around the waist and shoulder, leaving her arms free.
Oh, I hate this a lot.
They step off the edge and plummet down the seemingly endless shaft. At the last second, Diana whips out her lasso and hooks it onto the lowest platform. They swing into the wall, Diana taking the brunt from the impact. Steve is jarred loose, and they just grab each other's hands, swinging precariously.
Don't pull a Gwen Stacy.
20 feet below them, the black hole suddenly starts to iris close, giant sheets of gleaming metal sliding out of the wall.
Get ready.
She swings Steve and drops him. He rolls and slides along the moving metal, dropping into the hole. Diana pulls the lasso free and lands on her feet. Does a swimmer's dive headfirst into the hole a microsecond before it closes completely. Alright, this is another trope that the Marvel movies have mostly eschewed, but that I really hate seeing in superhero movies, especially when there's a set piece that's made out to be like a video game set where there are like crazy obstacles to get through that are unmotivated. Like Indiana Jones can go through something like that because it's a booby-trapped Mayan temple or whatever it is. That makes sense. But this is an office building with some giant irising thing and like all these obstacles.
I'm picturing it like a grain silo at this point.
I'm picturing it as a nuclear warhead silo.
I mean, that's probably what they're going for.
That's what it looks like a dick.
It's true. Yes.
She literally went down the shaft. So.
Right? Like, it was endless.
I hate that, and I wanted to air my grievances.
It does seem silly. It seems silly. It's like a Mario game.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, we're wahoo! Like,
and no one ever has any issues with it.
yeah, they're not like, what the hell is this? Like,
The door always closes just as they make it through.
Yeah, that
Or
doesn't
like-
cut her foot off or something.
Right.
Or even on a more basic level, like a 3-story high railing or a platform with no railing.
Yeah, doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
And there's never any tension there. You're never like, ooh, is she gonna make it through the door before Iris is closed? Like, I would really much rather see a tense standoff between two characters.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's making like wasted screen time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 50% of the Hobbit movies is this.
Well, there should not have been 3 of those. So
You know, having watched 2 of them and not bothering with the third one.
I didn't watch the
there
third
should have
either.
been 1.
yeah,
I
agree
watched
with you.
all of them for the first time having fever dreams. Like, I had food poisoning, so they weren't that bad.
I mean,
That's the only way that they were.
I don't
probably
remember
bearable.
them, but
That's for the best.
they were a salve to my...
I really feel like Peter Jackson wrote the scripts and went, all right, now let's get to work squandering all this goodwill I've built up.
Well, he didn't want to do 3. The studios made him do 3.
That makes sense.
But did he have to do any of them as terribly as he did? That seems
I don't
like a
think
choice.
it was the game. I don't think that was the goal, but
Anyway, enough Hobbit talk. That's our other podcast.
Welcome back to
on Wednesday.
Hobbit Talk. Welcome back to Hobbit Talk. See you in the Shire next week where we interview Gandalf.
or wish God.
If he shows up on time. Now, where the
I don't know.
fuck were we? Before it closes completely. Interior, bottom of the shaft. Continuing. Diana falls another 20 feet before she hits metal. The huge, nearly pitch black shaft is curving. And I can't.
And she slides head first down.
She slides headfirst down it at a breakneck speed till it levels out, and then she collides with a standing Steve. They right themselves.
We gotta keep moving.
They dwindle down the endless dark tunnel. No one follows. Interior, tunnels under the city, continuing. It's the same chamber the reporter died in. Diana jumps up, pulls Steve after her. He's exhausted.
This Must go up to the subway or sewer or...
She is wrapped. He turns, following her gaze, and the camera comes around to frame the two of them in front of the mural. The armored figure on horseback, fighting the dragon. She actually reaches out to touch it.
It's, St. George. He fought a dragon.
And the dragon had 2 heads.
I wasn't there.
The chimera. Head of a lion, body of a serpent, head of a ram. An engine of destruction, run through by Bellerophon. This is what Bacchus sent me to find. I have to fight this.
A dragon.
That giant room, the tunnels. See the buildings coming down? The chimera is here. It's already working. This was left for me. It's the sign.
It's not a sign. It's graffiti. Technically, it's vandalism.
She turns on him, genuinely pissed.
What is wrong with you? Why do you still deny what is right before your eyes?
What's wrong with me? By the way, Diana, how was your day? Anything special happen?
She stops, steaming, her voice lower.
His own people shot him. I didn't think they would do that.
Of course they would do that.
If I could have saved him.
How many more people are you going to wish you could have saved? You look at this, you see dragons. I see buildings coming down, and people in those buildings die.
They're already dying. I'm trying to keep it from getting worse.
And it never occurred to you that you're the reason it's getting worse? You stand up, call yourself a hero. The uglies are gonna have to bring you down. There's an old saying, when elephants fight, the mice get trampled.
That's not a saying.
It's not, but Steve's gonna make it one.
You made it up.
So I should what? Putter around in my plane, bringing help to 1 of 1,000 needy people? That's a life's work?
I used to think so.
So this is why you're so bitter. Because
Again, this is not the time to talk about my feelings, Diana.
Because I make you feel small.
Well, we're all small compared to you. From up there, we probably all look like ants.
I thought you were mice.
We're human beings, Diana, and that's something you will never understand.
Your people have lost their way. The world crumbles and they do nothing. They need a hero to show them what can...
Yes, we need a hero. Not a demigod sent on high to lecture us about potential. We need someone with no advantage, no hope, who's still out there trying. A hero who doesn't decide ever to be a hero. They're forced into it, and they step up and they live with the consequences.
Steve read the Joseph Campbell book, apparently.
Yeah.
Well, apparently.
He's in her face, seething with conviction, and she is shaken.
You'll make your show, fight your fight, and people will love you for it. And then they'll need you. And then they'll need you for it. And it'll start to grate, to bore you. And one day you'll just go back to paradise. Because every day you wake up knowing you can just go back to paradise. You're not a hero, Diana. You're a fucking tourist.
Ouch.
And he is slammed to the floor by Strife. Diana stepping back, startled as Strife has Steve down and a sword to his throat. He looks up at Diana.
I was in position 3 minutes ago. I just had to let him finish.
She whips her lasso around his blade, and he instantly yanks the blade away, pulling her off of her feet. So she uses her momentum to knock him off Steve. They roll, come up. She goes for him, but he's fresher and has a sword. And as he hacks at her barely deflecting with her bracelets.
So this is a sign, is it? A portent just for you? Your arrogance is a delight.
Steve hits Strife on the back of the head with a 2x4. It splinters, Strife turns, and Diana lassos his arms to his side and pile drives her elbow into his face, sending him flying as she calls out.
Get out! Go!
Steve hesitates. Diana looks, and Strife stands. He slices through the lasso with his blade. The glow comes off it as it falls limply to the ground. He holds his blade up.
Forged by Vulcan.
And disapparates.
Back to Hogwarts.
Disapparates.
I paused on that because I have never heard that word outside of Harry Potter.
Me neither.
And disapparates, reappearing behind Steve with the blade at his throat. Diana tenses up.
Please don't mistake this for a standoff. His head is severed. more than my life or anything after, I want his head. One thing saves him.
He holds out his free hand in a fist, loosens it, and from it drops a small chain.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Just 6 links. Old, burnished metal.
Do you recognize this? Maybe you're too young.
I know what it is.
The chain that bound the first Amazons. The chain that took their power.
The chain moves in his hand, twitching slightly. Steve sees the pain on Diana's face.
Submit to my will, and I won't kill him.
Diana hesitates. Steve can barely hiss.
Seek him out.
She looks at him.
A true Amazon would never even have hesitated. Your decision is made. Now say it!
No.
Yes.
Yes?
I submit.
Do it.
Slowly, she gets on her knees. Holds out her 2 hands.
Yikes.
Here we are.
The chain rises, twitching like a snake, pointed at her, straining at her.
I submit.
The chain shoots out of Strife's grasp and attaches to her bands. We pan up from her hands to her face, and there is color drained from it. Not just ashen shame. She looks less vital, less alive.
If your mother could see you now.
Diana looks at herself, at her chains, at her torn and tawdry outfit.
Wow.
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 Tawdry.
1 minute ago it was empowering.
It was a badass outfit.
Yeah,
Now it's tawdry.
it was the outfit.
Yeah, the outfit. Yeah.
Strife throws Steve violently to the ground as he strides to her. He descends on her, cloak billowing. Then they are gone. Steve looks, breathing hard, at nothing.
Table Reads will return after this brief word from our sponsors.
What's up, docs and docettes? Trevor Thompson, the self-appointed Looney Tunes critic here, and if you like old cartoons and watching online reviewers dissect them, then you probably said the same thing I did about 2 years ago. Hey, what the fuck?
Here, watch your language, you bud.
Every Saturday morning, I do a brand new commentary of a Warner Brothers short. All throughout the month, I do video essays examining the history of these cartoons. Catch my videos on youtube.com/Ferris Wheelhouse 2, or just use the hashtag Looney Tunes Critic. And now, here's Eric Bauza, the new voice of Bugs Bunny.
You've been listening to the Looney Tunes Critic. Ain't he a stinker?
Lights, camera, action.
So the movie's kaput, which means your script ain't worth the buffalo shit on a nickel.
Now, back to Table Reads.
So, is it just me, or are they setting this up so Steve's gonna have to rescue Diana?
Yep. From
I
her
don't-
bondage.
Strife got a chain boner.
From her naked bondage.
in her
That's-
tawdry outfit.
Yeah.
See, that's where it gets problematic. Like-
Yeah.
The man has to save Diana.
Who'd like
Who's bound
beat the
and-
shit out of everything up into this second
Yeah.
until she just chose fuck it. Like,
And
To save
the
a
language.
man.
The language, I submit.
Yeah.
It's all problematic.
And I mean, it's from the Wonder Woman mythos.
I know,
but it's
but
from the dark,
not the good part.
sexist
Yeah.
1940s Wonder Woman
yeah,
mythos.
don't, you have like 80 years to draw from. Don't pick that.
Yeah, I mean, it's icky, is what it is. And
And we're committed to finishing it.
I'm
all I can
embarrassed.
think about is is the letter from Joss's wife.
Yeah, same.
I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
good.
this dude clearly not a feminist.
But Buffy's still great.
Buffy is great. You do have to watch Buffy,
Oh, okay.
but
It's so fantastic. Like, I kind of want to rewatch all of Buffy right now.
same. Except I'm rewatching Lost right now.
Oh, yeah. You mentioned that a couple episodes ago.
Yeah, the world's greatest TV show.
Oh yeah. I didn't watch that either.
Josh, we're just gonna sit you down.
Shit.
Yeah, it's time. Submit.
I
Submit.
I submit. I have tawdry outfit on.
Fade in.
Jungle.
Yeah, I didn't realize if we did the one right before that.
Breathing hard and nothing.
Angle, for a moment, we are inside Strife's teleporting experience, and it's unreal and agonizing. Diana stretched and deafened. And then we're exterior, jungle, day. The two appear on a hilltop in deepest South American jungle. Beyond is more jungle, and more beyond that.
Beautiful, do you think? I come here when I want to be alone.
His touch is almost invasive.
Oh my god.
As he feels her weakened body.
Oh my god.
And you are so alone.
He clutches her head. Ooh, sexy. Clutch the head.
These slackened muscles. Slow reason. You want to die of shame, but you'll do anything to live. They always do. Humans. So live. For as long as you can.
He tosses her back hard and she falls. Hits her head on a rock with a crack. Blackout. Exterior, jungle, night. Thunder is what snaps her eyes open. It seems like it was bright a second ago, and now it's dank black all around. The dankest dungeon you ever saw.
All right.
She lies a moment, breathing hard, listening. Wind mixes with the sound of animals in the bush, but she can't distinguish, can't place it. She's experiencing these sounds in the human way, as cacophony, as she goes a little wild-eyed at it. She rolls over onto her stomach, and there is a snake, a big one, eyeing her. It hisses and she looks at it with fearful incomprehension.
I can't understand.
It strikes at her. Wait. She's telling the snake she doesn't understand it?
Yeah.
She's experiencing she doesn't understand the thing because now she's human, so she can understand Steve's point of view, right?
Or is it that he took away her gift of parcel tongue?
Very possible. He did disapparate.
Yeah. She's fighting Voldemort.
Strife is Voldemort, confirmed.
Like a
Voldemort with a burnished skull.
Like a blister from the ground.
Ew.
It would have been good to read him as Voldemort.
Yeah.
Easier on the throat.
That's true.
Harry. It strikes at her, and she scrambles back, getting to her feet. Rain starts to pepper the ground as she makes her way blindly forward, unseeing, unsure on her weak human legs. In moments, the rain is a torrent. Diana continues moving, loses her footing and slides down a ways. It's not a romancing the stone funhouse slide. It's awkward, made more so by her chained wrists, and ends with rocks. Diana cries out in pain. She gets unsteadily to her feet and stumbles to the bottom of a tree, where there is slightly less rain. She is at this point as muddy and disheveled as if she'd been out there a week. Her lips are white and shaking. Interior, Steve's workplace, night. Steve and the gang all sit alone in the big room. Griffin paces as Sully tends to Steve's cuts. We have to do something for the city. With Diana gone.
Don't talk like she's dead.
She's not here. Spearhead is, and they've targeted Gateway.
So they've got a weapon of mass dragonness. Or we don't even know. Isn't running the bestest ever plan? Isn't running the bestest ever plan?
Such a great voice for him.
It's really hard.
It fits his dialogue so well.
It does.
What about the city?
They can come too.
There has to be some way we can expose Spearhead.
On that? On what? The news that they own?
Strife. He struts about. Steve, you said he was an arrogant monster. Could we draw him out somehow?
That's the last thing we want to do. Strife just got the most powerful woman in the world to kneel before him. What do you think he'd do to the likes of us?
He didn't get her to kneel.
He did not.
He can't even look at them.
I did.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that sounds a little braggy.
Yeah.
Exterior jungle, day. We start on her feet, which are pretty torn up by now. Oh, that'll make a good chunk of the internet happy. The rest of her's not much better, as she doggedly makes her way uphill. She comes up to a crest to get a view of what's on the other side. The camera follows her, and what's on the other side is more of the same, a blanket of trees that spreads out forever. She squares her jaw against her disappointment, starts making her way down the other side. Exterior jungle, day. We see a bunch of mangoes atop a tree. Hear efforts from below frame. Tilt down to see Diana trying vainly to climb up and get some. She's making a decent effort. She is, after all, athletic, but she's chained and she's got no purchase. She shimmies up, then slinks painfully back down, finally letting go and dropping on her back. Exterior, same, a bit later. She's got a long branch, is trying to scrape them off, and does. One plump mango, dropping off and landing, and rolling away as Diana drops the stick and scrambles after it, and it rolls into a stream. She splashes in, chases it a few feet, and goes down on a caught ankle, her cry of pain telling us she has twisted it at best. She gingerly pulls her leg free as the fruit drifts quickly away. Exterior jungle, dusk. Diana's coughing is harsh and intense, doubling her over. When it subsides, she looks up, regaining her equilibrium. Blech. She is as sweaty as she is pallid. She's using a crutch. She looks up, and for a moment we are in her POV. The surroundings are blurred at the edges. Sounds eerily detached. She shakes her head to clear her vision, gets another view of the landscape, and sees a line of smoke coming from far away uphill. She changes direction, picking up her pace as best she can. Exterior, Steve's workplace, morning. Through the window, we see the gang still talking. Griffin is bringing in coffee. Sully yawning in the morning light. Pulls back to see a young gangster looking in at them. He crosses the street as a limo pulls up. The window comes down to reveal Clean.
Yeah, they all there. 4 of them, same as at the club.
No Wonder Woman, huh?
Not for a while. I think that's what they're talking about.
As if the strong lady's out of the game, and then it's my turn to play. Yeah, I'm gonna do real good. Exterior jungle, day. Diana is trying to make her way uphill. She looks for signs of the smoke, but the trees are thick. She looks hungrier and hollower than we have ever seen her. A few more steps and she collapses in the brush. She nearly passes out, but again she shakes her head to clear it. She starts pulling herself along the ground. A machete enters frame by her face. Angle, her warped POV, as she looks up, is of a middle-aged South American peasant. He is holding the machete inches from camera, speaking harshly in his own language. I don't want to try a South American accent.
I think that's
What are you doing here? We don't want any trouble. Go back down. Go back down and leave us alone.
I'm sorry. I don't understand. I don't understand.
A middle-aged woman and her son come through the brush. Come through the brush.
They come through the brush.
The woman starts arguing with the man. He's pointing at her chains, then out into the distance. She overrules him, says something to her son. The son grabs the chain and starts pulling Diana up. That's... if you're trying to help her, that's not how you do that. If you're trying to sell her, that's how you do that.
That's how you do that.
The man comes at her, and for a moment she tenses, but he gets in front of her and lets the son drop her arms over him as he hoists her on his back and starts up. Exterior village, continuing. It's a small village of tents and huts, maybe 20 people total living here. They stare at Diana as the man dumps her by the nearest open tent. at which sits an old woman. Diana leans back against the tent, breathing hard, still not sure what to expect. Someone puts a canteen of water to her lips and she drinks it, spilling as much as she takes in. I have to dance. The old woman hands her a piece of flatbread. Shaking, Diana brings it to her lips, stopping before she eats.
I'll repay you. It's not charity. I'll work. I can work.
I don't like how utterly and devastatingly broken she is.
I don't understand how much time has passed.
It went so fast.
Yeah,
it was instantaneous. She's a badass, like avoiding
no,
horrible traps and shit, and then
She's been in those chains for like an hour.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, okay.
And she's like, my spirits are broken because I don't have superpowers and I've had a lot of trouble getting mangoes.
And I've like never eaten in the past 600 years.
well,
apparently.
maybe she's just like, maybe it's like taking away the like godliness of the Amazon or whatever, like the
I'm sure that
powers
is
of
what
the
it
Amazon,
is.
and then
Right.
you're just
So-
human and you're vulnerable, right?
Because
That's what he's
she's a
trying
woman.
to.
Yeah.
Right.
If she's just a normal woman, then she's weak and vulnerable and broken.
I was gonna say it feels like most of the what Steve has gone through in this story, like that's kind of like the thing.
Superman 2.
I just need, like, if this has been like 3 weeks, that's a different matter, but they're treating it like it's been 2 hours.
Yeah.
But Superman 2. Clark Kent loses his powers, or Superman loses his powers, and he's going around as Clark Kent. And he's never this broken, even when some hillbilly beats him up in a bar. He's never like,
That's true.
Yeah.
It'd have to be a lot of time
Yeah.
to have elapsed, right? Like,
Yeah, they really should have designated that.
yeah, like she should be like slurping grubs out of a log.
Yeah.
like a badass,
show
right? She
how-
like makes a spear or something and like,
yeah.
not
Yeah.
clumsily drops a mango.
Yeah, this is
And breaks her leg.
Yeah.
this is bad.
Yeah.
Thank God. It was too good for a little while.
It was too good for a little while.
Page 87, everything
We
goes
got there.
downhill.
Infamous page 87.
Oh yeah. She bites into the bread, gingerly, then cramming it in as for the first time ever, a tear runs down her face. Fuck you, Joss Whedon.
To be fair, I also will cry the next time I eat carbs because they'll be so good. So that's fair.
Hand you a piece of flatbread.
Interior, silo, day. At first it's just sparks and flashes. Then we see clearly. Magnetic arms retracting, level after level, from the long metal monster. Interior, spearhead war room, continuing. Callus and the ops are monitoring. And go! Interior, silo. That was Op 5,
Clearly.
in case you didn't recognize from the voice. Interior, silo, continuing. The last arms pop back, and as it plummets, we get our first good look at the Chimera. It's long, metal, with insectile arms and machines attached or folded in hatches under the skin. At the bottom end is the lion's head, the multi-drill digging tool that glows with fire. The top end is the ram's head, a digging machine with giant teeth, like the front of a bulldozer upside down, and with 2 curved horns for scraping and pulling. Fire also spews from this side as well. 2 heads attached by 100 feet of thick metal serpent's body. Totally practical, but unsettlingly anthropomorphic. That's not anthropomorphic at all. Released, it shoots down the tunnel, eventually curving into the lower tunnel it has carved out of the earth and out of sight. Interior, spearhead war room, continuing. She's out, running hot, straight, and normal. Op 1 turns from his screen to Callus.
Take out a few more key structural supports and we'll be ready to play dominoes.
It has to be tonight. And it has to be perfect.
Perfect is doable. By the time the dust settles, half the city will be gone. Not our half. And the Chimera will be en route to Beijing. She's a beautiful monster.
It's a machine. Can we please agree that it's a machine?
Miss Callus, there's someone here to see you. That's Op 3. He's new. Exterior, village, day. Diana is half asleep, clearly feverish, when angry voices awaken her. She peers out of the hut she's in, seeing 5 rebels, long since been co-opted by the drug trade. 4 men and 1 woman are entering the village, yelling at an old man. He offers them a bottle of liquid, which they take. Then one of them kicks him in the gut. Diana tries to rise, but is too weak. She shrinks back into the hut. The door is thrown open, and she is pulled out, along with the rest. One of the rebels points at her and starts yelling. The man who found her explains quietly, but is slapped in the face. The head of these guys grabs Diana. Off to one side of the village, an old metal washtub has been overturned and a hidden hatch opened. 2 of the rebels pull sacks of what must be drugs out of the pit below. The head guy tugs at Diana's blouse, looks down it, smiles.
Wow.
But the old woman is talking now, and the rebel runs his finger along Diana's head, smells the sweat, fever. He tosses her away like a plague dog. Other men grab her. Diana is pushed into the pit. Interior, Chalice's office. Afternoon. She sits behind her desk with the same smooth smile.
You know, I see a lot of potential in you.
Reversed to reveal Clean sitting opposite her. You're the second lady that's told me that. I must be doing something right.
The difference is I plan to help you realize that potential. What do you want?
What every God-fearing American wants. More. Talk is there's about to be some restructuring here in town.
And who's doing the talking?
Well, that's the Daily Double right there, isn't it? The Strong Ladies posse, they all hiding out. Together.
Really? Where?
Interior, the pit, day. Silence. Diana sits on the ground, weak and feverish, amongst the 6 or so others. Weak women. She looks to one side and sees a girl of 8 staring at her intently. The girl says something, but Diana looks at her dully, not comprehending. The old lady who first fed Diana leans out of the shadows, speaks in heavily accented English. Who's gonna be the old lady? I got a lot of directions. I'm tired of reading. Come on, Callie, be an old lady.
I'm not gonna do a broken English.
Do an accent. Do it.
She asks who you are.
Diana looks at them, then settles back against the wall.
It doesn't matter.
The girl speaks again, still looking as stern as a schoolmarm. The old lady translates.
She say you should remember. Say they take everything away from you, except for that.
Slowly, light breaks onto Diana's face as she hears the familiar words. She sits up, looks at the little girl. Angle, the old woman in the refugee camp, in slow motion and from Diana's POV, asking her name. The hooker on the street in Gateway. The indignant girl at the club eyeing her from her POV. All of these pass through Diana's head, all asking who she is, and she realizes who has been watching her all this time.
Mother.
At first, she looks down, shamed, but she takes a moment and looks at the girl straight in the eye. New determination on her wan and bloodied face.
Tell her I am Diana, Princess of Themyscira. Say I am chained and humbled, but I am unbroken. I am an Amazon.
She stands, barely able to in the tiny space, looking out through the cracks in the bamboo grating.
And tell everyone to move back.
Exterior, village, interior, the pit, moments later. One of the rebels, gun slung over his back, opens the grate, tossing in a few scraps of food. Diana shoots up out of the darkness and pulls him headfirst into the pit. He thrashes about. Diana gets an elbow in his face, her precision and training still a part of her. He grabs at her and pulls her into the mud. They thrash like dogs, precision gone, till Diana gets behind him with her chain around his neck and pulls. Ugly, unrelenting force in her arms until he slackens. Murder. Exterior, village, day. Diana peeps her head out. 2 men remain in view, 1 woman. They are haranguing the man who found Diana about the food he's... What? They are haranguing the man who found Diana about the food he's laid in front of them. One of them goes in the hut. The other 2 watch, laughing as a sack of grain comes flying out. Diana slips out of the hatch and snakes her way along the grass while they're distracted. She makes it behind the cluster of huts, looks for something to wield, finds a shovel.
Pablo!
Lots of dialogue here, or description. Diana hears one of them calling out, looks to the hut. Angle, the rebel starts for the hut, and Diana comes around the corner, baseball batting the shovel in his face. He goes down hard as the woman starts to unsling her rifle, backing up, and Diana barrels into her, knocking them both down, getting the gun away. The woman rolls up and Diana swipes her in the knee with the shovel. The woman howls in agony and Diana comes up with an elbow in her face. The rebel inside comes out, firing. Diana dives out of sight. She gets up to crawl, but the rebel fires through the flimsy hut walls as she drops to the ground again. She peers through the hole he's made, sees him advancing, and she's got no cover. The rebel comes to the other side of the thin wall, and Diana comes through it, knocking into him. He pulls away, trying to get his gun clear, and as she grabs his belt, as she falls before him, pulling him down. The fight gets dirty here, more room to maneuver than down in the pit, but just as primal. He gets off a few wild shots and his clip is empty. He butts the rifle into Diana's bad ankle. She screams in pain and kidney punches him twice, 3 times, then swings her leg around his neck and holds him down, a wrestler's hold. He gets his knife free and she lets go, grabs his wrist with both hands. He punches her across the face and pushes her down, knife in her face, and she can only push back until she starts to prevail, her strength and determination overwhelming his. Behind them, the female is not unconscious. She scrambles for her rifle. Diana twists her grip suddenly and breaks the guy's wrist. He screams as she puts her whole body behind the forearm that breaks his face. She goes down like a rag doll, Diana standing barely, legs wide and shaking above him. She is breathing hard, the image of fury and power. From inside the hatch, the little girl watches. Diana holds up her chained wrists and begins to pull. The other woman gets to her gun, eyes still on Diana's back. Diana strains. Her straining becomes a low noise, an agonized roar, a scream of pain and resolve as in slow motion she snaps her chains apart. The chains crumble as they come apart, her wristbands clean of them. The woman fires. Diana blocks the shot behind her back without even looking. The woman is stunned but about to shoot again when the man who found Diana puts his machete gently to her throat. Diana moves toward the hatch as the old lady and the others come slowly out. Diana is not limping. There is color to her that has been lacking. She looks down at the girl.
Thank you. She tells me she has something. A gift for you on top of the ridge.
Fade out.
We're going to have to find out what that gift is next week.
Dun dun dun.
Bum, bum, bum.
So, Steve didn't have to rescue her.
Yeah, but also, I mean...
This whole, like, oh, even though I'm chained and I don't have my powers, I can totally beat up a whole village full of these bad guys because I realized who I am.
Yeah,
Still feels
super
like
When I was
cliche.
so easily broken.
Feels like a charade.
And just like, they haven't talked about what makes her any different than a regular Amazon. So like, no other Amazon was like, hey, I could probably break these chains.
Oh yeah, they never talked about her being made from clay or
No, nothing.
any of that
Zeus,
stuff.
nothing. So, it just seems like the other Amazons were lazy now.
So he was like, okay, this whole like making her out of clay thing, that's a little too silly. But this whole bondage and chaining women up and taking their powers thing,
I could sell
that's
that.
staying in
That's
there.
my jam.
So why did Strife just leave her in the jungle? Like,
Because bad guy, like, of course he's not going to just kill her.
Doesn't make any sense.
Leave her in the jungle, and then did they even say that he vanished?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
Yeah, his
yeah.
teleportation, disapparition.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a confession for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'm not taking in all of what I'm reading.
That's fair.
Yeah, you
Because
just
a lot.
I'm also
You're trying to
focusing on the
manage all the
music and
things,
like
The music's been good. It's
And
been,
the
you haven't had to
timing.
change that, really.
Yeah, it hasn't been like do-do-do-do-do-do.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm trying not to change it as much because when I listen back to the episodes and I spend 5 minutes going, that music isn't right, it takes me out of it a little bit.
That's fair. That's fair.
3 choices.
So anyway, let's get our plugs done real quick so Kelly can get out of here because she has a pressing engagement.
Hardly. So I am going to be knee deep in my cosplay stuff by the time this airs. I'll hopefully be done. If not, definitely crying in a corner somewhere. Follow along at xKira Kelly, XKIRAKELLY.
I do voiceover and video stuff. You can reach me at that's me, at joshuajbaker.com.
Do you have an easy place people can see the videos you've produced?
I do. Vimeo.com/Mr. Joshua J. Baker.
All right. Is Mr. spelled out or is it MR?
It's MR.
All right.
It's MR.
question.
Shorter, faster that way.
Yeah. All right.
Higher, faster, stronger.
And if you like this show, which clearly you do, you made it all the way to the end. Good job, guys. Do subscribe so you can get all our episodes right away when they post. Leave a review on some platform if you feel like it. It's not a big deal. But really tell your friends, like, hey, listen to this show. It's great. Or it's decent. Whatever you feel about it. You know, just get people listening, please. And if you want to learn more, you can go to tablereadspodcast.com. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/tablereads or on Twitter and Instagram at @thetablereads. That's it for us this week. I think we're going to wrap up Wonder Woman next week, so
Yeah.
tune in for that. We'll see you then, and until then, we'll miss you.
This podcast was created by Sean McBee. For more, visit tablereadspodcast.com. Cut to black.